Fun fact, we probably watched every available Popeye episode during the pre-production, took best inspirations for the environments, for the characters.
Welcome back to IGN First, our month-long coverage. Every month, we profile a different game, take a deep dive look, a lot of exclusives. This month, it's Mouse, PI for Hire, here in the month of February 2026. I am joined by Mateus and Michal from the Fumi Games team, and we're here to talk all about just the unique animation, the extremely unique look of Mouse, PI for Hire. Guys, thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you. Thank you for the opportunity.
Absolutely. Well, I want to start, maybe Mateus, I'll start with you. What came first here, the idea for the game itself, or the desire and idea to use this 1930s rubber hose animation style?
Yeah, I think this is the question more for Michal right now, because, he was one of the original creators and the guy who created the first art for the mouse.
I came from the animation industry. And I'm really passionate of the animation, and especially of history of animation. The mouse is like my little passion project that I started beside of my regular animation work. When we started to make video games, I came into the Mateusz with the idea of the boomer shooter with the style of the 1930s rubber hose animations, and he loved that idea and gave this idea an opportunity to make it happen. We started with the 5 people on the small team of this project. Our programmer put the video of making the game on TikTok. Then it goes viral and resonates with people all around the world. I remember that day when I was going to work and met my friend in the subway. And he told me, hey, I read the article on the Gimme website that some guys make a game that looks like the game that you want to make. And I said, really? Yeah. Then he showed me that article, and that was Mouse.
Yeah, I can add, that from the beginning it was a passion project. We done most of the work after hours. We started prototyping the game. The first prototype that Michal showed to me was really, really basic. Then we hired a coder, programmer, David, who joined the team, and we started the first full small production. And the baby came out of this, as a small teaser that he showed on TikTok.
That's cool. So my next question, was it always going to be black and white, or was color in this animation? But was that a debate at all amongst the team?
It was never a debate among the team. It was debate in the community because when people first saw the art or the trailer, they thought, okay, it's quite original, but you need color. Because no one never made an FPS, a cartoonish game in fully black and white. Yeah. It was something unusual back then, but we stuck with our roots in our original design, and we never wanted to add any color. It's challenging. It's really challenging, especially in player guidance, in pathfinding, because you can always add a yellow color if you have a color in game or any other color. And I think that we done a pretty good job. It was really, really challenging. We learned a lot of new skills, managing only basically 2 basic colors, black and white.
Help me understand how much of the animation of the art was done by hand.
All the animations that you can see in the game is done by hand.
Wow.
It's not easy process, but having computers right now, we can speed up some elements in the whole pipeline. Of course, we used techniques from the 1930s, 1940s, rubber hose techniques. But having computers, we could speed up the whole process. It was much nicer, and we could basically see our effects not instantly, but quite fast in the game. So if you would use the old techniques, so using paper, pens, scanners, and so on, the whole process would take not months, but years.
Yeah.
And in the game development, they don't tend to wait for games. They want games right now. That's why, the whole development process of games is shortening every year. And we couldn't tell people that, okay, you saw teaser, then you need to wait at least 7-8 years to see the final product. That's why we used computers. And I think Michał can say something more about the whole pipeline of the animation.
Yeah, so the animation pipeline is really similar to the pipeline that we use in the animation industry because game is hardly based on animation, so it's really similar, but not 100% the same. So, for example, we started with the concept that we took from the design department. They're giving us an idea, and we made our first concept arts for the character, for the NPC, for the weapons of the game. And then we came to the process that in the film industry is like a storyboard process, when we made a limited animation to put in the game and look how this works. And if it's good, it comes to the animation process when we put the life on the animations, on the characters, on the weapons and all of the interactive elements in the game. Then to cleanup process when we clean the outline to not look rough, look good. Put the colors on it. And the last final step on making animation for the game that is different than making animation for the film is to render all of these things, put it in the engine and pack it and make the magic goes on.
Michał, were the weapons the most fun thing to animate in the game? Because for me, what I've seen and experienced of the game so far, I mean, it's all gorgeous. I just love the entire look, but the weapons, I just love how alive the weapons are.
Definitely, it was a very fun thing to do, but for me, one of the most challenging things. And we couldn't make such a great design, such a great animations without our two animators and with our two artists. Abraham, who made the great concepts for the weapons on the game, and Igor, who animated all of the things. So it was also credits for our game design, who put all the mechanics, all the specific timing for the weapons to look good, because this is one of the things that we need to focus when we making animation for the video game, is that it should fit the mechanic, should fit the interactive aspect of the game, and do it in the quiet tempo. Because when you have a game hardly based on the animation, they should look good, but also be useful for the player, and not be player shouldn't feel frustration when he uses animation gun.
How did the animation influence the tone of the game? It seems to lean a little more playful, and I'm just sort of curious how you guys balance that of matching the animation to the tone of the game.
Animation, it's crucial for the whole game. So it's connecting also with the whole narrative element. It's like when they think about mouse, they think about animation, they think about art. And it's a really great thing because we have a hook. We can hook them, interest them in the game. But beneath this art animation elements, there is a deep, vibrating story. And I believe that we will surprise a lot of people when they will play the game.
So you talked about the engine earlier. You guys are using the Unity engine here underneath the animation system. How much custom work had to go into Unity to get it to cooperate with the uniqueness of what you guys are doing with the animation?
The first prototype, however, was done in Godot. but the proper development is we are doing in Unity. Unity is really good in managing the 2D animation sprites. It's really good, but our game has thousands of animations, and this was the most challenging part, because still you can put as much assets in the game, 2D assets, as you can, but your game can grow having 200 gigabytes, 300 gigabytes. So the most challenging part was the optimization process of the whole animations, and we needed to develop a special tools that will compress 2D animations to have a better performance for the whole level, because there is tons of animations, different kind of animations through the whole level.
Can you talk about, kind of on a similar note, about the challenge, if there were challenges of using 2D animations in a 3D game world space, because we don't see that very often. I imagine that had to present some sort of challenge, either in the animation itself and maybe the level design as well.
I think it would be much easier to make everything in 3D. The most challenging part managing 2D assets, especially enemies, in 3D space, is to animate all directions. Yeah, so we need to animate front left, side, back left, back, all the bosses, all the enemies, every skills, every objects. So not objects, every enemies, bosses, and some interactive objects. They are animated in 9 or 8 directions, so it was challenging and really time consuming. Also, having 3D animation, it's much easier to add every bit of animation to the game. Having 2D animations, we needed to think really carefully what we want to add, because we don't want to spend weeks animating things and then we will just delete our work. We wanted to have the whole 2D animations into the foreground, not in the background. So we use flat colors, as in the old rubberhouse animation. So there are flat colors, and you can spot really easily every 2D animation walking around the level. Either this is enemy or 2D animations objects, interactive objects, you can really easily spot it.
I have to imagine that this project has been more difficult than maybe you initially thought, and I only say that because making any video game is clearly not an easy thing, but nobody else does this. Like, you guys are the only studio making a game in this way, so how much more difficult? How have you found the process over time? Like, have you really? I imagine you've learned a lot in the course of development.
We made a lot of mistakes, and going back and forth with numerous of things. I think that there are few FPS games that using sprites or using 2D animations, but I think our project is unique, that we are using a lot of frames, a lot of images in our animations to show that the rubber hose animation style is really unique and the whole animation is really unique. And I know that right now there is a debate if hand skills not be useful in the future, or they will be replaced with some tools. I believe, and I think that we showed it, that having a great hand skills, having a great artist, it's only beneficial for your game and the project itself.
I'm curious as to, maybe this might be a good one for Michal, your inspirations for this, because Cuphead, I think of very quickly, for obvious reasons, the other really amazingly hand-drawn game. Totally different kind of game, of course, than your boomer shooter. But I also, I get a little bit of Who Framed Roger Rabbit from this too. I'd be curious to hear your inspirations.
I think the biggest overall, our biggest inspiration is the rubberhose art style as a whole. Our biggest inspiration is the animations from the Fleischer Studios, the people who create such characters as Betty Boop, Popeye, Coco the Clown, or Bimbo the Dog. fun fact, we probably watched every available Popeye episode during the pre-production to took the best inspirations for the environments, for the characters. But also, we were highly inspired by works of Iwerks. He was a lead animation in Disney. He was animating, for example, Steamboat Willie. But then he became a solo animator and became a solo career and make characters such as Fleet the Frog or Willy Whooper. But also other animation studios for that era, like, for example, Paul Terry, Charles Mintz, but also the old Looney Tunes cartoons that were quite violent from for that era, but it was a good inspiration for the combat and fight for our game. So we took a lot of from them.
Awesome. The last question I have for you guys, maybe for either or both of you. So now you're almost there. The game is nearly complete. It's almost out. Moving forward, do you guys want to stick with this animation style for your next project, or was this a one-time fun experiment, fun project, or is the rubber hose animation going to be the Fumi Studio signature moving forward?
I think that the overall hand-drawn style will be our studio signature. I believe in the craftsman of artists, and I think that we will surprise people in the future with our next project.
Mateus, Mikhail, thank you guys so much for making the time here. I know it's late where you guys are in Europe. It won't be long now before we're all playing Mouse PI for Hire. We've got more coverage for the rest of February on IGN, but then everybody will be playing it when it releases on March 19th, 2026 for PC on Steam, PS5, Xbox Series X and S, and Nintendo Switch as well. Guys, thank you so much, and good luck in these final days of development.